beloveds. I'm Noelle Rose Anderson Kale, and I am here live-ish, whatever that word means anymore. Pre-recorded but live. I don't know how that works. And I'm the Dance Warrior. Woohoo! And I should go like this, flex and show off. This one's even stronger. Look at that. I'm working it. How are you spending your COVID time? I'm kicking tail with my workout. Okay, so hi, I'm the Dance Warrior. Yes. So raw, real, and uncensored, and I try to bring to you all these wonderful things about dance, what I'm doing at my company, what I'm doing as a professional performer, dancer, choreographer, etc. I do a lot of things, and I try to encourage you. I also try to hold people accountable too. So I do a lot of things depending on which and what is happening in the world and in my life. So anyway, hi, I hope you guys are doing well. We're hanging in there ourselves, and we are not in our original normal set, as you can see, but we're starting to really jive with the white background. It's really kind of cool. Maybe we will start using white, maybe not, I don't know. Let's see what happens, right? Anyway, so since everybody else is doing the low-key video filming thing, I'm like, okay, it's quite acceptable, especially right now. And why do I have to stop just because there's some silly virus going on, right? And the word I chose, silly, it's not to demean or to downplay anything, but it's also to say, hey, look, you know what, don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. The second you give in to fear, then they've got you. You've got yourself too, don't you? Don't be afraid. Be wise, be smart. Do what you think is best to protect your health and the people around you. You know, you don't want to be so selfish in only protecting yourself. Protect other people too. But, you know, a line must be drawn too, because it's getting a little ridiculous in my opinion. Just a little bit. And people need to answer this question for me. How the heck is this stuff spreading? Because we have actual video and footage. I don't see people really going to bars, and they shut the bars down. Not a place we hang out at anyway, so who cares? But there are people who like to do that, but we've driven past bars and there's nobody in them when they were even opening. So I'm like, how's this stuff spreading? I think we all need to ask that question, because if what we're doing isn't working, you know, maybe we need to consider. Because people are social distancing, people are wearing their masks. Hey, you know, we've been wearing our masks since last summer, even prior to the summer, towards the end of spring, because of that white crap that's being sprayed in the air. Whatever it is, gas, dust, I don't care what it is, but, or what I should say, I don't care what it's classified as, I do care what it is, because it was making not just us sick, but the people we were with sick. I'm like, yeah, well, solved that problem for a little while, and then they amplified it to the like 100th degree. Don't you think it's that strong now?
Oh yeah.
It's like, what the hell? You can smell it. It's like, oh, we couldn't smell it before. Whatever. So anyway, yada 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 yada, right? I want to talk to you today about my piece called Numb. And I want to kind of connect some more dots for you guys. So why did I create that piece? Well, the truth is, I was told to do an ensemble piece for if I had any chance in hell of getting my dance in a ball showcase performance, that I needed to not just do a solo on me. And at that point, I had never done a solo on me, so I don't know where they got that idea from. So I did, okay, fine. I will do an ensemble piece, and I like that piece very much. A lot of people like that piece very much, and people have asked me, well, what is the interpretation? I have to be totally honest with you. I felt like I was just taking dictation. There was no human being telling me, it was just my heart dictating to me. And no, that was not an experience I went through. Now, before everyone says, well, I thought Red Ribbons, because it's part of Red Ribbons, was your testimony. It is. But there is a place, and this is in my book, and I've said this in other videos, where my real character kind of branches off from the character I'm portraying. I was just trying to separate the two in a sense, because I just didn't think it was healthy, but now I don't care. It's no big deal. Not to downplay other people who may have struggled with this, but it was to show a possibility. And people were asking me, well, where does it take place? It's like, I don't know, I think it's just in her mind, and she's just dreaming this or fantasizing it or questioning it. And everybody wanted the literal interpretation, and it's like there wasn't one, but I came up with one after the fact saying, oh, okay, well, that character was feeling suicidal because she was haunted by the memory of what her, in the story, it was her father. I was not raped by my father, you know, it was my grandfather. So I kind of combined my mom's history with my history and my grandmother's history and mushed it into one character. So Red Ribbons is my story. It's really my family's story. And the character I portray is actually representative of all three of us women. I've never set foot in a rehab or any kind of, institution or cell or anything like that. I don't have that in my history. I couldn't even begin to tell you what it would be like, because I don't know. I have no clue. All I know is that there was lore, L-O-R-E, you know, maybe even myth in my family of what happened to my grandmother. And as time marched on, and since I even did my book, the Red Ribbons Dance Warrior book, and I'm not talking about the children's newer cartoon version, that's completely separate, but it does have an analogous meaning to Red Ribbons symbolizing setting children free, etc., and overcoming abuse, basically. Okay, so I learned a lot more since I wrote that book, and that's gotta be, going on 5 years now, I think, since I wrote it, and I'm going to do a revised version of it. I'm going to do a second in that series, continuing it, and although it's kind of a different story, it is very much connected. So, Numb. What is Numb about then? Numb is basically, and this is my interpretation, and then people were getting on me because I gave them what they wanted, a literal interpretation. I really had no idea what I was doing as far as conveying a narrative. Now I can look back and make it fit, you know what I'm saying? But no, it wasn't depicting anything that I had personally gone through. Things I've imagined, maybe things that I heard that were told to me what might have happened to my grandmother, and I'm saying might have because we're actually asking for federal government help to find out what the hell happened in my family, because it's really bad, obviously, and it's really wrong, and we need to know. I want to know the truth, and I deserve that. I deserve that. I deserve to be able to straighten things out, because I don't want anything lied about in my family. I want to get it right. I want the legacy of my family to be right, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, and same for me. And I don't want, when I'm gone, for anybody to come alongside and try to do what they've done to some of these celebrities, which I'm not buying anymore. Guys, I would really strongly question, you know, a lot of these beautiful celebrities who have died, and some of them were painted as tragic figures, or some of them were painted as evil. I'm not buying any of it anymore, and I'm suggesting, in my opinion, that you don't either, because I see what they were trying to do to me. I'm still alive, so I can still do something about this and make a huge change, and I want to pass laws. And I'm not going to say what they are, because every time I say what I want to do, somebody is listening somehow. Well, we know how now, but and then they put it on another senator or something. I'm like, that was what I was working on. And then we would have evidence of documents and conversations or videos like this. So I'm not going to say, but I am working on a lot of different things, and I want to never allow what happened to me ever happen again to any human being. And even though there are all these stories that are coming out, they're not quite hitting the nail on the head. And they're kind of dancing around the entire picture and truth of what's been happening. So, you know, they're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole because it would severely destroy them. And that's my job. And the government's job and the people who are helping us. Anyway, but, you know, getting back to Numb, I wanted to just make another portion of the story, and I also didn't want to upset my mentors by saying, yeah, it's part of Red Ribbons. So I just made a piece, and I was like, oh, okay, it looks like this woman is contemplating suicide, and she was put someplace. I always thought it was her bedroom. Other people said it was a rehab. And okay, that's not what I intended, but okay. You know, see, this is the problem when you let other people define your artwork, because nasty, evil people and some people in the media and corporations who are harassing and bothering me will try to use that as a weapon against me to tear down my character. And then, oh, look, the story goes, she ended up dead because she committed suicide because of all, right? Of all this in her history. See? And she even made a dance. So she was crying out from the pits within. Get over it. Go suck it. But do it. You know, gag me. Seriously. I am not suicidal, and I didn't go through a suicidal point making this dance. Not even close. So, you know, just knock it off. So you need to hear the truth from me, you know. And yeah, when I was back in college, my second time around, yes, I was older, I was having fun with the over 21 kids. I call them kids, they weren't kids. We're not that far apart in age. But I was older, and we went out and we partied, we had fun. We went to, what was that? It was I love that gay bar in Hollywood. What was that one called? Was it Rage? Rage?
You mentioned that one.
Is that right, guys? Oh my gosh, we had so much fun there, and the reason that I went there is I get treated so well, and I love, you know, the gay people. They don't screw with me. They love me. I love them, and I'm usually safe, like always safe around them. They act like my older brothers or sisters, and they were very protective of me because they know I have an open heart and I love everybody. And you know, I felt safe, because if I go to regular clubbing, I get treated very badly, very, very badly, and right, and people try to do very bad things to me. So, you know, we went where it was safe. So kudos to that bar in Hollywood. Thank you. You guys are always wonderful to us. Anyway, but so I'm Italian. I'm not an alcoholic. I've never been an alcoholic. That's my mother. I always looked down upon that even when I was a kid. Hold on, I'm getting this stuff in my eyeball here. Hold on, guys. You know, it's like, and that's so, what is going on? Come on here. You know, it's so well documented. And just because somebody likes to go out and have fun does not mean all of a sudden that they're an alcoholic. But do you see how they would and were trying to paint me as this weird, tragic figure? I mean, go look at all these other celebrities that they did that to. So, you know, I'm basically calling out. I don't think they had the strength or the knowledge like I do. They might have been afraid, too. You gotta question that. I don't fear anything, obviously. And that was something else they were trying to paint in my character, that I was so timid and all this, and people were like, you don't know Noelle. So I applaud and thank that one mentor, teacher, friend that I had that's, remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, timid, you don't know Noelle. And it's like, yeah. No, just because I'm polite and quiet and I don't always voice what I'm thinking, that's responsibility. But when it is appropriate, look out, because if you're doing harm to me, I'm going to stand up and say something if I disagree with you and it's harming me. Or if I just disagree with you, I'm allowed to do that. It's a free country. But for some reason, somebody thought I was just so timid. And I was like, to hell with timid. Watch my videos. Where have you been? You know, it's like, if anything, nobody would ever say that about me. Sure, they would say that I'm kind and I'm generous and I'm polite and I help, and I'm very giving. I've got a lot of great character traits. I've got some bad ones too, because I can swear like a sailor. But, wow, that's what you're going to say about me? Go ahead. I don't care. A lot of Christians think it's cool. You're not going to mar my Christianity. It's not a sin. I mean, you know, so they're trying to poke holes in me. And, you know, I'm going to mention the Associated Press because, look, we love them. We're so grateful for that story. But you have to understand, you know, that whole retreating in my little bubble thing. Let me tell you something. Why don't you do your research about psychology, because I've studied it. And actually, during this COVID time, maybe I will go back and just finish my degree just so I can have it and I can shut you people up once and for all. Because I would be considered, what, a professional then? I don't have to take 2 more classes. So what's separating me from being a professional and not? Just 2 classes? I'm not going to change that much. I'm not going to get that much more education. It's just, you know, jumping through the hoops so I can get certified. Alright, I'm not mocking anybody for working hard, but, you know, let's really call it what it is now. It's ridiculous sometimes. Anyway, you know what that bubble was supposed to be termed as? It's supposed to be a place where you regroup. Not where you run away and you hide and you cower before the world. No, that bubble is to be regrouping, to protect yourself for the time being. It is healthy, so you don't have problems psychologically, physiologically, biologically, physically. Because if you get too stressed out and you don't have that bubble, that closet, that tub, that resting place, even God said to take 1 day of rest. So, yeah. So stick it. I'm not talking to the Associated Press. I'm talking to anybody who may have tried to misconstrue that, no matter where they work or who they are. I was feeling very, 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 very upset on behalf of all the other women who are coming forward, and to also see that my stuff was being used inappropriately. You know, cherry-picked from. To market it. That is... Look, my message was never one of vengeance. One of, you know, how can I say... No, that's a good word. Mine was one of forgiveness and healthy heart, mind, soul, body, physiologically, psychologically. But they didn't want me to be strong like that. They didn't want me to be seen like that. They're like, no, we're going to paint you like a tragic figure. You know, and there was somebody in it, who was a teacher, who I like, actually. He's a cool guy and all that. Yeah, he finally found out that, wow, he was wrong, and everybody who was trying to paint me a certain way were very wrong. Very wrong about me. And I'm like, good. Everybody kind of deserved what they got. Maybe not one person. But, you know, the truth needed to come out. The honest God truth. And it's just like, just because I was saying, hey, somebody's doing something bad to me, and standing up for myself, that doesn't put me in a bad light. That's not a reflection of my character. It's a reflection on those character traits of that group of people or other person. But, you know, if you are the one who's being harmed, don't let anybody tell you that that's, you know, your fault or to blame you. You know, the victim blaming thing. And by the way, victim is a legal term. It is not a state of psychological being. Yeah, shove that up your psychological, not studying asses. I'm so tired of people just wrongfully labeling things and twisting things around. Anyway, so Numb became a psychological study for me. Very logically, very analytically. And I'm like, why am I being pressured to say what this piece is about? And I hated to disappoint people. So I created this story around it. And, but I just put music together that I liked. Some of it was my husband's, some of it were other artists, and I just wanted to just create something. And it was kind of mimicked and mocked by somebody else, I think about a year later, who made something kind of spoofing it. And it's like, that's evil, number one. Number two, okay, fine, you're not hurting me because it wasn't a part of my life. But why do that? You know, this person could have come up with anything, and they just decided to do that. So then I started thinking, maybe that person was put there by the corporation to try to taunt me and to put a sever in between me and who I thought was a friend at the time. Gotta think about that one. And then did the corporation follow my friend all her years too? You gotta think about that too, because something weird's going on. Yeah, I'm figuring it out too. So anyway, Numb was done kind of mindlessly, I have to say. And I was just putting it together as I went along, and I didn't really go back and change choreography. I seldom do, because before I put it on a dancer or myself, I pretty much know what I want to do, right? I don't think I ever like scrapped anything. I might say, oh, you know what, that move doesn't look good on that person, let me make them look better, but I see it in here before it comes out. It's one of my gifts. That's why I'm a good dancer, because I see it before I do it, and seeing it like that actually helps somebody train to be better, because if you can imagine it and see it, it's like I can see my muscles, I can see what I'm doing, I can see another person doing another part, and it's like dictation. Really easy for me, I don't know why. And I thought it was the hardest thing for me, but you know, I was just like not feeling confident of my abilities when I first started getting back into all this. But yeah, lesson learned. Don't let other people try to insert your narrative or your truth, because it could be a problem. Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of what happened with Numb. So no, that really wasn't my experience. Things thought about, possibly here and there. My grandmother's history, could be. I will let you know when I find out, because I was told one thing and now I'm researching and I'm finding another, and then we have this other source of input too, and I'm like, okay, so then what happened? Please tell me. And it could be worse than I think, or it could be better than I think too, or no, I should say. So yeah, Numb. So if you see another video about Numb, some of it might not be complete, and then when I do know the full story, this video will have changed in its meaning too. You know, what am I gonna say? I just want to set it straight, because like I said at the Associated Press article, I loved it. I mean, really, it got the message out. It showed red ribbons, it's important, the dance, and all of this. And it wasn't just about me, there were other people in there, supposedly, right? You know, whatever. They know they owe me. I'm being cool with them. You know, friends, no enemies there with them at all. But, you know, there's a potential for a problem there, so I need to say something. And I have been. I mean, you can look at our Facebook timeline, Noelle Anderson Dancer. You know, facebook.com/ all of that. Noelle Anderson Dancer. It's important, because I don't want to give even a little space for the enemy to come in after all this crap that we've been through, and then somebody murders me, and then they make it look like a suicide or something. Oh, she couldn't take it, it got to her, look at all these people who died, the death of her mother. Of course it bothered me, that's my mom. Are you kidding me? Everybody's troubled a little bit. So I didn't stop working though. I was extremely responsible. I didn't cry on the job, I didn't, you know, I just, hey, some days I'd be like, oh God, I don't want to dance today. Yeah, in school, I turned down, it's like, I don't feel like dancing today, and I had my hand here, and this person, the teacher, turned it into this big thing. I don't have anything wrong with this, or a problem with this teacher anymore, but let it be known that she was trying to start some trouble for no reason. I'm like, yeah, my hand is there, just like in dance, it can mean anything, why don't you ask me what I mean? It's like, maybe I had a headache, maybe the lights were shining in my eyes and I didn't want to get a headache. Maybe I was just thinking. Maybe it was a bad habit and I was scratching my head. Maybe I was just holding my head here because it was getting tired. I mean, just like dance, this can mean a lot of different things. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it's just arbitrarily stupid, you know. So they started every little movement I was making meant something detrimental to my character or to them. And I'm like, oh my god, that was hair. I'm pretty direct. You know where you stand with me. Anyway, I knew that was coming because the Lord just let me know, you need to say something before they do. So I did. We resolved it though. But you see the bullshit I gotta deal with? Timid? I don't think so. I mean, right? You were there with me at that meeting. Yeah, I think we can solve this real quick. I mean, why start this for other, and there was another person involved, and I was like, why are you trying to start putting a wedge between me and this person too? We admire each other, even if we don't, I actually like this person too, but anyway, I don't give a shit if they like me or not. I never did anything to them. So if they don't like me, they're the ones with the problem, because I'm a very likable person, but, you know, that's water under the bridge, but that's a good example, isn't it? Yeah, because I don't want something where people interpret something and they run with it and, you know, proverbial crap hits the fan. So, yeah, hear it from me, hear it from the people around me, and yeah, words mean things, and sometimes the meaning can get lost in articles, and they can also be twisted around to suit another need, and it might not have been mine. I'm just always wanting to promote my company and promote the message. Of course, promote myself. I mean, look at it this way. Other entertainers do it. Why can't I? No, duh. That is the job of an entertainer, to be self-promoting. If you don't do a good job doing that, you're going to get fired. You know what I'm saying? Because these companies want to make money off of you. I want to make money for my company, so I am the product. So, of course, it's nothing selfish. That's how it works. No doubt. So anyway, yeah, so I was like, okay, I don't like the pictures too much. They picked the worst ones, which, haha, funny. Not so funny because you didn't get permission from me. But like I said, I'm being cool with you. I will let it stand, but I'm going to need you guys very soon, and you're going to help me. I'm pretty sure of it. Actually, I am so sure of it. So we can all be cool with each other, and it doesn't go any further than that, and remain friends. But I am just telling you that the bubble thing did not mean, oh, look at Numb, she made this, she, you know, oh God, the things I've heard. Like, you're fucking wrong. Fucking wrong. Completely wrong. So, I wanted to drop the F-bomb twice there intentionally, yes, before my Lord Jesus and Savior, because I am so done with some people. You know? Jeez. Take a hint. So anyway, you know, so it's cool. And I am making sure we have a lot of things that we've changed in our lives and our companies to make sure that certain things never happen again. So every single person that dances for us, every new project we do, they're going to have to re-sign another form, no matter how redundant it is, because we're getting overly protective of ourselves, that, you know, they can't screw around if somebody is trying to use them as our third party to, you know, weasel information out of us, or to try to set us up, or to cause any problems like this. They will be fired on the spot. They've slightly misbehaved, they're going to be fired on the spot, and they're going to have to sign the contracts that way from now on, right? Because it's just like, I can't have people coming into my company and they're part of the enemy, you know, spying, trying to set us up, trying to, you know, do a gotcha moment and all of that. You know, that's actually very, very illegal to do. I forgot what the term is. I'll have to ask my husband. But hey, President Trump, you know what all this means, right? Yeah, we're voting for President Trump, and we don't always see eye to eye with him. Who does? We're human beings. But that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean he's an awful person. It doesn't mean he's doing everything wrong. It doesn't mean he's going to be 100% right or wrong. We're human. That is the one thing that a lot of people are being stupid about, is that we're all human beings. And people are just dehumanizing everybody to the point of death, even, which is quite disgusting, if you ask me, in my opinion. and I'm going to be letting my opinions more audibly, loudly heard, because it's getting so preposterous. Just like what happened to me with, the articles, with Numb and all this. So guys, it's in writing, it's in videos, and as we learn factual truth, and as it, I don't want to say embellished, as it's fleshed out more, I want to correct it. I want to represent my life and my family's lives and my art as honestly and as factually proven as possible. That's where I'm at. I'm not telling you to do this. If this is pulling on your heartstrings and you feel guilty, oh my God, maybe I should do... No. You do what you want. I'm not putting this on you. I'm doing this to clarify my own life and my own art. And, don't get mad at me because you think I'm talking to you. No. I actually have nobody in my mind right now except what I'm focusing on, so. The other story when I said, oh, it was this teacher and that, obviously I'm talking about somebody. But this, no. I'm telling you what my opinions are, and that's all I'm focusing on for the moment. So, yeah. Another thing about Numb, I think that there's a lot of things, okay, of my spiritual background, yes. For those of you who don't, and you're just listening to this the first time, you don't know me. I have a very, Catholic, Christian, and Protestant, and Jewish, and just, I have a lot of faiths in my background. And I have a lot of experience from that, and knowledge, and it gives me a point of view to understand a lot more people than not. And it's not that I changed my faith, I didn't add anything to it. I just came into a deeper realization of what I believe in. So, to sum it up, because I believe in a lot of the Buddhist stuff. I practice yoga, and I practice some of the philosophy, and some might call it a religion too. And there's some Buddhism that I think is very wise and very smart in how to practice your life and what to believe in. So, right? And a lot of people know that. And although yoga is not necessarily connected with Buddhism, but it can be, and it's been connected that way in America, and there's just a lot to it. There's just a lot. So I try to find what not just works to me, because I don't want to be disrespectful to the deity, the Lord Jesus Christ, either. But I don't want to throw everything out and disregard everything either. And I don't want to be not standing anywhere because I'll fall for anything type of place either. I just go based on what I can actually prove. And for myself at least, I've proven that Jesus is the way. There are many paths. One door, but many paths. And how we find that door can be a challenge, and there's no right or wrong way. I can, like Billy Graham found his pathway to the door one way. Good Lord, my mom, she was on her deathbed, I went a completely different way. There's no right or wrong with that, and people need to stop saying that, oh no, the only way you can get there is this way. No, there's a lot of ways you can get there. There are, obviously, because we all have our own testimony, and they're not exactly the same. It's impossible. So, there's going to be little details that are going to be completely different. But the door is there, So, there's also a portion of that in Numb as well. And I like to inject and insert the spiritual. But another aspect of the spiritual is in looking back, because like I said, I felt like I was just taking dictation from my heart, from just what I thought made sense. And I didn't have a storyline, and I'm telling you, I was getting nailed for that. And I'm like, why do I have to have a storyline? First time I did a dance, you condemned me because I did have a storyline. Now I'm being condemned that I don't have a storyline. It's like, why can't I just let it be what it is and not explain it away and ruin it. Or maybe sometimes I do have to explain it so it doesn't get misconstrued. You know what I mean? Let me as the artist decide that instead of, being shamed and harmed for not being able to jump through your controversial and contradictory hypocrisy hoops, So the side of the spiritual also covers listening to God's, not an audible voice like a burning bush experience. That, I don't know what to say about that. But not to downplay anybody who may have had that. That's actually kind of cool and creepy at the same time, right? But it's that inner voice. It's the God voice, God speaking, saying, well, why don't you go this way, and gently nudging. And then in looking back, I now can find a lot of things. Numb really didn't have a thrust except an emotion, and then the story came after, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I might have meant. And who knows, I might change my mind afterward. I can make it mean a lot of different things. And yes, when I choreograph, I do that on purpose, where there'll be 3 different things or 5 different things, like the art of brokenness. That has a lot of different things, and it can fit in Fight for Love, it can fit in Red Ribbons, it can stand on its own. It's just that kind of piece because I made it like that. It's really hard to do. Have 7 completely fleshed out storylines so you can transport it and inject it and insert it into other already completed works, and it fits in. Very typical. But I see all of this in my head, It's, maybe you don't know. I can't explain it better than that, but I see it. It's like it's already done. I just need to do it. And really, that's why I have very little backtracking and things to fix. If anything, it's pathways and traffic. I don't know. It's just a thing I can do really well. And yeah, dancing. It's always been the first primary thing, my first love, my first best thing that I could do. And anyway, with Numb, I'm looking back and I'm like, oh, I can see another storyline there. And just like when you read the Bible, not that I'm comparing my work with Holy Scripture, because my stuff falls short, but if you are a Christian, there is a belief, and I am, that God can use you as his instrument to create art, to create a fascinating thing in the world, to discover an aspect of science, to bring it forth, to help a person. We are the extension of his hands because he's not here right now, right? We don't see God anywhere. So what can he use as his tool? Us. A tugging on your heartstrings. Oh, go hug that person because look, they're crying and they're mourning. They just lost their loved one. Okay, here's an embrace. I can do that. Colored or not, I'm sorry. When there's somebody hurting, I'm not carrying anything. I'm not contagious, and if that person is, I guess I'll have to deal with it, It's just, I'm not going to let society get to be hypochondriacs. I mean, be safe. I'm not saying not to be safe, but, we've got to use all things. They say moderation, right? Well, I think so. I think I would ask them, hey, do you need a hug? Would you like a hug from me? I think that's probably the safest way to do that. Wow. This stuff totally killed spontaneity. It's stifling humanity. Jeez. Is it planned? Ask the questions. Well, obviously something was planned because somebody knew something and they didn't say anything. Fact, right?
Yeah.
That's fact now. That's a conspiracy. Wow. Ain't no way around that one now. Okay, so, yeah, so with Numb, it's kind of like the same thing. Just going where my heart's being guided, and then maybe it'll make sense to me later. So, just to shut a lot of people up, and I do mean that word, shut up people, because they were just being nasty to me with it. God, nothing is sacred anymore. So I said, okay, well, this person is going, I always thought she was in her bedroom imagining this, but that wasn't good enough for people. So then I said, oh, well, maybe she is in a hospital, and maybe those are nurses. I thought they were angels actually guiding her. But if you look at the Red Ribbons lore, it would be the fractured psyche playing fear, anger, shame, And those three women are a splinter of the main character. And so they're acting out. You can look at it so many different ways. It's amazing. Even now, I say, I didn't intend that, but I could see it this way too. But the one thing I don't want people to see is that it's not about sexual child molestation and abuse. That is what it's about. So we had to make the film to hit the nail on the head even more. That's my prerogative as an artist. It's my prerogative as getting my real story across. And it's just my prerogative. I know what I meant. This is what I meant. How you feel about it, that's not my prerogative. Do you feel angry? Legitimate. Do you hate it? Legitimate. Do you love it? Legitimate. I'm not telling you how to feel, but apparently I made you feel something, and that's my point, just to make you feel something. Feel something. That's good. You're alive. We're human. You're human. Excellent. If I didn't make you feel something, I didn't do my job. You're offended? You feel offended? Good. I made you feel something. Might not have been my intent though. See, that's the thing. What was my intent? My intent was just to convey a story. I'm not trying to offend anybody. You might be offended, but good. We don't turn away from that. We don't shy away from that. That's an emotion. It opens the door to talk. It opens the door to check your heart, and sometimes even ours. Totally fine. Nothing illegal, nothing simple. It's actually beautiful, so good. That's why we have our company motto. What do you think it is? Feel the experience. That's what we brought you in for. We don't want you turning into a robot, okay? We don't want art to just fall off of you. This society is already on its way because of this stupid COVID thing. And I'm not demeaning people. People are dying. I'm just so sad about that. It's horrible. But we also can't let fear of this or that or anything start to make us like, no touching, stay away from me. Come on now. We're human. We are emotional beings, obviously, because we have them. We weren't born on the planet Vulcan. And did you know that Spock and his whole planet and his whole race, they had to learn to control their emotions. It's not that they didn't have them. Oh, they had them, right?
Yep.
They had them. But they had to learn how to use logic to suppress them. I'm very logical, very rational, but obviously my inner heart is still very much intact. But I'm telling you, it is my logic and rationale and critical thinking that makes my work even better. I tend to be very well balanced. And see how they were trying to paint me more emotional, more this and that. It's like, that's part of me though. It's not all of me. Anyway, so, Numb, what do you see in it? That's probably the one piece that's up for grabs. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever. Yeah, it could be. And it's been in different places in the presentation of Red Ribbons. Probably about 5 different places, and we've scooted it around, and it'll take on a different meaning depending on how much time. Sometimes we only have enough time to present maybe 4 or 5 sections. Sometimes we can do all of it. It's a 2-hour thing. It is a long thing, and I'm still adding stuff to it because this is the triumphs part. And did you see the one that we did in the chapel? You did that one with us, right?
Yeah.
That was so beautiful. I was in so much pain. That was on the heels, 4 months, 5 months right after the two major car wrecks that we had. Not that we caused them, we were passengers. Yeah, look, I can raise my arm up now, and as long as I don't go in a certain place, I don't have pain. But I was in so much pain. I was taking medication. I'm like, oh my God. I was trying to be a good sport and not take anything because I hate taking medication. It's not good for your body, people. But I'm not saying not to take it. Listen to your doctor, right? And I was like, I don't do that. I don't have a history of prescriptions and stuff. I just take it as needed, and so it was like, So I just grin and bear it because I see the destruction it was doing to my body, and I'm like, no. Open up the toilet lid, dump them down the drain. I'm like, bye-bye. We're done with that. Yeah. So, I was using food, I was using heat, I was using ice, I was using all sorts of things. And so, I just decided I'm going to dance with the pain. I'm not going to hurt myself further, and then, but that was it. We haven't done any other real performing at all since then. It's just so, Anyway. Anyhow, yeah. I think that, before I get too far off the spine of what I'm talking about here, I love doing that. But I think people just need to understand and realize that you are the author of your life. You control writing your own bestseller. Don't let other people say, no, this is who this person is. They might have had a certain experience with you, and they're entitled to believe what they want. But I'm not suicidal. If something happens to me, I'm telling you it's foul play. Figure it out. Call whoever you need to. Something happens to me. I don't have COVID, so if they try to frame it up to make it look like, oh, she had COVID. No, it was probably insecticide poisoning, because they do have similar symptoms. Did you know that? Yeah. That's science, rationale, critical thinking, and logic. Yeah. No, I'm not a drunk, and I've never had a problem drinking. Not saying I wasn't tempted, but I was not. Thank you very much. Actually, we grew up in a family where we were raised on the real stuff. I don't think we're getting the real wine anymore, and that's why I just totally stopped drinking any of it and all of it, because it tastes like motor oil. You have to pay minimum, I think, $300 a glass, maybe. I don't know. But if you really want to get the stuff that, like, we used to have when we were kids, or like the stuff they drank in the Bible, there was no additives, and it wasn't filled with garbage that made you sick. It didn't eat away at your organs. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the culture in Italy, Sicily, a lot of the European countries, actually. And that's a lot of that I was raised with. So, yeah, my grandparents, great-grandparents, they had their own vineyard. And we were given wine, split with ginger ale. It was so cool as a kid. We didn't get high, we didn't get buzzed, it's actually very healthy for your blood. It's grapes. It should be, and that's all it should be. Fermented, aged. And, the byproducts, you have to do it right. Because you can get a little buzz off of it. It's not supposed to, damage your whole body, though. You have to know what you're doing. Let's just put it that way. And my great-grandparents knew what they were doing. So when I said, yeah, we used to drink that as a kid, and it was a normal thing, completely. And it was good for you then. In the Bible, they said just don't get drunk. You had to drink a lot of that stuff to get drunk. It's not like nowadays, geez, what, a glass or two? And it's like you're wasted. That's why I'm like, I'm done. I don't have a death wish or anything like that. I want to live very, very long. Our bodies were designated to live at least 130, 140 years, so we're dying off too young. I was like, I want to get as close to that high number as possible. Why not? You know? So, anyway, yeah, that's Numb. That's Numb. But I do know the feeling of wanting to just, you know, kind of numb out too, because things are getting too weird. But I'm not much of an escape artist, if you know what I mean. You know, there's some people that like to do escapism. I'm going to put my hair up for a second because it's really warm. Sorry, guys. And yeah, I have numbed out before, but it didn't become a problem. It didn't become an addiction. It didn't become more than what I'm saying. Does this work? Oh God, maybe not. Did I do this right? I can't see.
What happened on camera?
No, I put my hair up.
Oh, good. Yeah, it looks right.
Really? Alright. My hair is just so, it got so big, so long, so, yeah, it's just summer. Okay, so, yeah, I know. So I'm going to go back and rewrite, especially the Numb chapter in my book, my Red Ribbons book. And so if you see all those pictures from Facebook of me partying, oh yeah, that was me. I had fun. Totally. Doesn't mean it became a problem though. Just saying. We all did it. So all those people I were with had problems. No, actually, they're very, very well-rounded. Most of them, I think. Well-grounded individuals. You know, it's so funny though. The people who do have problems are like, oh, look how brilliant and smart they are. Meanwhile, they're actually the ones drinking themselves to death and ruining their bodies. I actually know how to cleanse my body and do it as often as possible and as needed. So, beloved, don't worry about me. Don't worry, I got the hint drop in class that one time. I love you for it. I'm not mocking you. I love you for it. I thank you for being very concerned about me. But, yeah. It wasn't a problem. And it shall never be. So guys, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everybody was very clear on this because these people will try something like that. And, you know, I think an investigation needs to be opened up on everybody who passed, celebrity or not. Something doesn't seem right to me. And maybe the case is that in some cases they did pass because of how it's being said. I just know some people that I do know beyond a shadow of a doubt because I did know them that it ain't true. So there. Yeah, so I'm the Dance Warrior, hashtag that. And oh, by the way, the trademark office, when they were passing the trademark through, oh gosh, President Trump, you really need to investigate that whole office, that whole institution, because there's something very wrong. The Copyright Office and the Trademark Office, well, look at our reports, because, yeah, we're standing by what we found, and we have the evidence to prove it, but they were changing our description, and it's like, no, what the hell did you get off doing that? We didn't give you permission to change the description. Remember that?
Yeah, I did.
It's like they didn't want my name associated with Dance Warrior. Why? So you can knock me off? Not the people who were trademarking it. I hope not. But somebody like the corporation, maybe they were third parties. I'm asking a question. Were they planning to knock me off and then give Dance Warrior to some other younger lady? They can kiss my ass if that was the thing, because no, that is mine, that is my family's, and it's going to remain our property forever. And there's nothing that these evil corporations or whoever may or may not be involved. So I hope they weren't like trying to do something like that. So now we're going to have to go back and straighten that out. I mean, we could just pay, what, $150 and just add more stuff to what it covers. You know, we could always just do that.
Sure.
And then we could sue them for being assholes later. Because it still stands what they did. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no. They took out the whole descriptor. And they used a form that was volunteer change. It wasn't even mandated. We have evidence of that. And I'm like, who the hell did this? I didn't say nothing about changing this. And it used my name, Noelle Rose Anderson. You know, now I'm going to add -Kale and make it very, very clear. And the Dance Warrior, based on her books and things, it was a very nice description, and it was legal to do it that way. And then all of a sudden, they changed it using a form, a voluntary change form. I'm like, I didn't volunteer this shit. So President Trump, you need to get on their asses and find out what the hell happened. And we still didn't get our certificate. So what? They're gonna hide it and hold it? I'm asking a question. I don't know, but we never got it, and we are the owners. We own the mark. And now they're like, no, you can just download one and print it. No, I want the damn original. We paid for it. So President Trump, you need to go after these assholes for us. I know you got that report, but I'm just saying it just in case you hear this. Yeah. Assholes. They might be worse than just assholes. They need to be looked into and investigated. Don't you think?
Definitely.
I mean, really. I'd hate to think that what I just said was the whole plan. So I think they may stand corrected and issue us our official, nice document, paper, with the seal. Jerks. Yeah, timid? Are you kidding me? No, I earned Dance Warrior. Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. But that's not the only part to me. See, these people are so narrow-minded, and you know that whole thing about know your stereotype character so you can have a longer career? Guys, that's bullshit. I'm gonna do another video. Okay, so I love you guys. That's my Numb video. Let's not call it that, though. What can we call it?
This one?
I don't know. We'll come up with the title for this one. It's a two-parter. Okay, going on to the next video. Love you guys. Bye.